Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Gay Like Me Live. And I am so excited to be able to have my sister, my friend, just a really great person in general to have this conversation with. And I know we all know who they are, and we all know we've seen their work and we heard their work, but now we get to really know who they are as a person. So I would like you guys to just welcome Big Freedia to Gay Like Me Live. Hey, Big Freedia.
Hi, Derek. You already know.
Let me tell you something. Everybody been so excited about this. They're like, Big Freedia's gonna be here. Oh my God. So they've been very excited about just hearing your story and hearing who you are. So I'm glad to have you here. So
I'm
let's
happy to be here with you. I miss you.
I miss you too. So let's do some housekeeping first. What pronoun do we use for you?
Well, for me, you can use whatever you choose because I know who I am.
Right.
You want to use girl, you want to use boy, he, she, whatever. I
Okay.
know who I am and I'm comfortable with who I am. So whatever pronoun you choose, I'm happy either way.
Because I remember because when I got introduced to you by one of my clients, who you were by one of my clients, Queenie from New Orleans, and she was like, Big Freedia, Jimmy Fallon, this is huge for bounce music. You need to watch. I was like, who the hell is Big Freedia? What are you talking about? She was like, you need to watch Jimmy Fallon tonight. So I watched Jimmy Fallon, and I was like, oh,
Yes.
yeah, this is a whole. I said, this is different. I never heard this music before, but okay. And then you came to Atlanta. And my friend was like, we got to go see Big Freedia. So I came to see you at your show, and it's been love ever since. And you was gracious.
Ever since.
And then when I came to your birthday party, and he was like, can you introduce me and all this stuff? I said, yes. And I would say, I was like, I didn't know what to say because I was like, well, we never really had a real conversation. I was like, so I didn't know if I was supposed to say he or she or well, I was like, well, I don't know what to say, but I just kept saying Big Freedia. That was an easy thing to do.
That's right. That's right. That's the easy way to go. I tell people all the time, just stay free to.
Right. So, if you could wrap Big Freedia up in 3 words, what would you say those words would be?
3 words to wrap myself up: humble, fabulous,
Mhm.
and open-hearted.
Mm, those are good. Those are 3 good words to have. Now, when did you know that there was something different about you? Like, at what age do you know when you was like,
I knew. Oh, very young. I probably say about going on 7 or 8. I just knew that I liked it something different. I liked it, baby dolls. I like to be around my mom a lot. I like to be in the kitchen. I like to be all around the girls. So about 7, 8, I just knew that something was different about me. I kind of knew a little bit further once I became like 12, around in that age where I knew like, hey, this is where I want to be at. This is the right direction that I'm going in. And at my 13th birthday, I decided to tell my mom why all my friends were over and all of my family that I was gay. And I sit her on my lap at the party and I say, look, mom, I want to tell you something. She said, what is that? I said, well, I think that I'm gay. And she said, well, baby mama already know. And the next day, me and her, she woke me up very early. It probably was like 7 o'clock in the morning. She woke me up and she said, she told me to come in the room and she asked me, well, is there anything that anybody did you? And we just went over all of that. We sat, we talked, we cried, we laughed. And from that day forward, she embraced me and she protected me and she was there for me.
now did you have any traumatizing experience as a child that you say made you be gay? Because they all think that we all been molested or something, or we all had some type of thing happening.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, I knew that really wasn't interested in girls. I mean, there was nothing because I was always around family and friends. There was nothing that happened to me to make me, say, "Oh, I'm gonna be gay." It was just already in me from a small kid. Like my mom said, when I was younger, they used to always come around when I used to come around, some people used to say, "Oh, he gonna be a little sissy." The way he walked, the way he talked, the way he's playing with dolls and stuff around the house. And so my family kind of already knew just from me being small and being around the house and the way that I acted.
Mm-hmm. Mm. And so did your now was your father in your life too?
Hold on, Eric, I lost you.
Oh, it's okay.
Let's see what's going on here.
Can you hear me? No, them earpods be a mess, child.
Derek, try talking again.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Audio.
Can you hear me now?
Completely lost audio.
Okay, leave out and come back in.
I took the headphones off and it's still not doing.
So leave out and then come back in. Okay.
I can't hear nothing.
Okay, let me just take you out. Okay, kick from studio.
Let me try.
And then come back. Okay, we gonna bring Freedia back. But yeah, I'm excited about this. So once Freedia gets back in, we get to finish this conversation. But I like having these conversations because a lot of people don't know where people came from, how they came to where they're at, and the trials, tribulations, or struggles they went through to become who they are. So, that's why I'm really excited about this, because Big Freedia is a big name in the music industry, has worked with some of the biggest people in the music industry. And you see on her Instagram and things that she has a lot of respected people that fuck with her. So, especially being as overtly gay as she is, with the hair and the makeup and the nails. So she has all of that, but people still respect her as a person. Yes. So while we're waiting for her to come on back, I'm texting her now. I mean, how are you guys doing today? Thank y'all for showing up. Thank y'all for showing up, and thank y'all and while we're here and we're waiting for Freedia to come back, share, do all this good stuff. Okay, she just popped back in.
I'm back.
Yes, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. The queen is back.
All right, there we go.
Sorry about that.
So what I was asking, was your father in your life during this time growing up?
My real dad was in and out of my life. He was back and forth and incarcerated, but my stepdad was there the whole time of my youth life. Mm-hmm. And he was there, and he was hard on me. But I understand now that I'm older why he was hard on me, why he was doing that to protect me. He didn't want to see me getting messed over by the boys in the neighborhood and people growing up. So I totally understand, and now me and my stepfather has the best relationship. Mm-hmm. He's called and check on me all the time. He's like a sweetheart, and I get it now. As a kid, sometimes we don't get it, and we think, oh, he's being rough, he's messing over me because I'm gay. But he also was trying to protect me from such a cruel world in the neighborhood that I grew up in.
Mm-hmm. So now New Orleans is rough. And
yeah.
So being young, being black, being gay, growing up, how was your experiences growing up in New Orleans?
Lakin, please let them in. So for me, it was not as easy as people thought it would be. And I had to fight in the neighborhoods. I went to really rough schools. They always picked on me and called me a fat sissy and a fat fag. I had to deal with all of that. And it was crazy times growing up back then in the 90s, going to high school and middle school, because it wasn't so accepted. And people, things were going on in the neighborhood. And if you were in a black community, it was just not accepted you being gay. And it was such ugh. So it was rough growing up back then. And over time, things started to get better, and people started to open their mind just a little bit wider and start being a little bit more versatile. And for me in New Orleans, I was just like, I'm gonna be one of those queens that can change people's mind and make the boys feel comfortable around me without feeling threatened or that I want to have them or whatever. So that's what I started doing. I started becoming cool with a lot of different people all around New Orleans and all the boys especially. That I'm gonna be that one queen they could dap off and not feel threatened. And I started
Mm-hmm.
to do that. And I started to make a difference and make a change and let people know, yeah, you could be cool with a gay guy and not even feel threatened by anything or any way. And so as time went on, things started to open up more and more. More people, more gay people started coming out in New Orleans, and it just started to change. And um, I'm just happy that I was able to grow up in the era that I did because it taught me life lessons to get me prepared for now.
Mm-hmm. So when did you know that you want to get into music?
So I was always into music when I was small. So I was into gospel music though, and I
Mm-hmm.
was I was into church really heavy, and I would go to Sunday school and choir rehearsal. And one day, one of my friends in the neighborhood, she was like, "Come to church with me," and I went to church with her. And ever since I went to church with her, I had never looked back. And that was my way to get out the neighborhood and get a peace of mind,
Mm-hmm.
and also a way for me to stay out of trouble because there wasn't many things for us to do in the neighborhood back then. So that was my outlet to go and relieve stress. And I learned how to sing. I got in the choir. Like the mother of the choir, who was the choir director, who was my godmother, she took me under her wing and started to nourish me and care for me and protect me and teach me the Bible and the Word of God. And I started to, she also made me her assistant director. So I became a choir director. And we
Mm.
started to travel all around the world singing. We did choir competitions. I did it at high school. I became the choir director at my high school. I sung with the high school. I sung with Gospel Music Workshop of America, the Gospel Soul Children. So I was into gospel music very, very heavy. And did that for a very long time. And all of that was instilled in me transitioned when my friend Katie Red first came out with Bounce Music in '98.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to help her out, and we started to make great music and background in her and going to the studio and having fun times. And in like 2000, 2001, they was like, why don't you do it? You have the voice for it. I'm already well known because I'm around school saying like, whoa, in the hallway and doing high notes. And the boys like, get out my ear, bitch. And all this and all that. So I've been known for just making this high call in clubs and in the hallways at school. And when I did finally make my first song, oh yeah, like it went like wildfire all over New Orleans. It was messy, which the girls love. Oh yeah, these hoes they mad. Your boy I made my cash. So it was the catch of the town. And I started getting booked. I did a DJ and rocked the block party, and then my life changed.
So I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. With you being heavy into church, did you ever have internal conflict with you being heavy into church and being gay?
Yes. Um, Not far as when um just like going to church and praising God. I had some services that I felt like they were, you know, to pick on me. And then my godmother will reinstill that God loves us all. And no
Mm-hmm.
matter who we are, he knows everything before it happens. So I started to feel much better about situations. And she helped me to kind of really get along the way of, damn, you could still be gay and praise God.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to see like different other people in choirs that were gay, different organists that was gay, different drummers. And so once I saw all this around me and some of the choirs that I was in, I felt very comfortable in my own skin. And it was very difficult for me to do the transition from gospel music to bounce music. And I tossed and turned. And I talked to my mom, I talked to God, and I just went back and forth, back and forth. And then finally, one day my mom said, well, Freddie, you got to do what makes you happy. And as long as you keep God first in anything that you do, I think you'll be okay. And
Mm-hmm.
I started to do both. And I still was into gospel music. I still was doing the bounce, and then like some of my um choir members, they was like, "Oh, we want to see what you do and this and that." So some of them would even come to the club and support me. So I had support in all different kind of ways. I tossed and turned with it for a while with myself, but then
Mhm.
I finally came to grips and said, "Well, as long as I keep God first in everything that I do, I think I'm gonna be fine." And that's what I
Mhm.
still do. We pray before all of my shows. I still go and sing with the choir during the reunions. So I'm still very connected to my background and God. Long as I keep my relationship with God, my music should be fine and I should be fine and I should continue to, move forward. And right now, I really feel that I learned my purpose of the world. I come from gospel, but I'm also bringing people together in different walks of life. And even now, like I'm doing my gospel brunch, still
Mhm.
connecting people to God, no matter what you do, and I know my purpose now.
Mm. Now, when you got into bounce music, when you switched over to the other side of bounce music, you work with a lot of people, like a lot of people that. Well, before we get to you work with, where did you come up with Big Freedia? Like when did the Big Freedia persona become?
So, I mean, the first they had all kind of names. They used to call me Big Freddy, Freaky Freddy, all this different stuff. And Big Frida came from one of my friends, Raven, who I grew up with in New Orleans. We used to call her Randy at the time. Her name is Raven now. And she was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Girl, we got to give you a name or whatever." So she was like, "We're going to call you Big Frida," because they used to call me Big Freddie at first.
Mm-hmm.
So once she gave me the name Big Frida, I was like, "Girl, we got to get some more stuff to make this catchy." Big Frida, Queen Diva, Dick Eater, Late Night Creeper. I just started putting it together and that became my stage name. And when I would get on stage, I would say, "This Big Frida, the Queen Diva, the Dick Eater, the Late Night Creeper," and everybody would just scream every time I did my introduction. So that's kind of when the Big Frida persona came. Once I got the name from my friend Raven, and it just took off from there. I stuck with it everywhere I went. That was my introduction, and miles was dropping.
Mm-hmm. Now the look of Big Frida. How did that? How did like so the nails, the hair, the makeup, the color was that always there?
No, everything was not always there. Everything is always a changing process. Like when I first started with the music, I was short and spiky and very punk rock, all kind
Mm-hmm.
of weird looks and even still sometimes I want to go back to the short styles and like I'm coming up with all kind of stuff. I might have on some nice jeans, but I'm gonna take a scarf and wrap the scarf around my way to make it my own way. I was heavy into scarves and bags back then, and
Mm-hmm.
hats. So it's just a change of over time. The different looks. I got my swag strictly from my mom, though. She was a diva,
Mm-hmm.
and she came with so many different ways she used to dress us. So me, my brother, and my sister, we got our swag from our mama, and over time, it just changed. I started to elevate a little bit and add a little makeup here, add a little hair there, and once my hairdresser left and moved out of New Orleans and went to Houston, it was hard to find somebody to really keep up that punk rock spike look that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I kind of started going to wigs and longer hair. And then came the makeup and then the nails. First, the nails were short, then they started getting longer. And so over time, everything just changed and started to develop even more.
Now, did it? Were you? Even though you were doing this, because I know, like for me, when I put on some heels or it's something that I'm doing, I'm trying something new. I kind of feel uncomfortable at times. Did you ever grow into being comfortable as Big Frida?
Which is what was up? Did I?
I would say, did you grow? Oh Lord, what's going on? I think something is happening with YouTube. You okay? You there? Oh, I think you can. You hear me, Frida? Why I can't hear you? Lord have mercy. Okay, let's leave out and come back again. Okay. Erica, this is Can you hear me, Frida?
Derek.
I can hear. Okay, there we go. Okay, all right.
It's working now.
I don't know. We got to see. Okay, we back.
I'm back.
Okay, I'm like I don't know what's going on with YouTube. I feel like it's crashing.
It is.
But what I was asking you is that so for me, like I said, sometimes I get into when I put on something that may be way out the way, and I'd be like, it's like, ooh, child, this might be a little bit too much. But I had to work and being comfortable with just being me and doing me. Did you have to go through that process?
Oh, most definitely, and it's still a process because sometimes it's something that I may put on, and it's like, damn, I'm taking it to another level now. So yeah, you have to be comfortable within your own self, and if it's something that I'm really not comfortable with, I'm not rocking it. One time I was getting ready for Jazz Fest, and they kind of did me like a bodysuit, and I had to like put I'm like, no, this is not for me. This got my nuts feeling wrong. No. I'm taking this shit off. So I have to feel comfortable with myself. And then it was like my little nipple was hanging out. You have to feel comfortable with what you're rocking in your own skin. You won't feel confident going out there. And when I go out there and I step on stage or I step in the streets or to my fans, I just gotta feel confident with myself, in order to go out there.
Now, so what I get asked all the time, are you comfortable with being a man, or do you want to be a woman, or are you non-binary?
Listen, I'm comfortable with who I am.
Gotcha.
I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm not changing nothing else. I'm happy who I am, the way that I rock. All you see is you might see hair, nails, a little makeup and earrings, but don't get it twisted. I am who I am.
Because they like to get it twisted sometimes. I tell the same I'm like, wait a minute now.
Don't get it twisted, sweetie. No. I do not want to be a full woman. I do not want to, change my sex parts or any of that. I'm happy with who I am.
Now, you work with some big stars. So, like to see you, like with Drake or doing something with Lil Wayne or doing like those are like men in the industry. And I'm sure it's more people than that. But they're men in the industry. So to see you working with people like that gives a lot of people like a lot of hope. But did you go into those spaces nervous how they want to accept you?
I did. Actually, I did. You always, when there's a situation with a guy, no matter who it is, you always want to kind of step back and figure out how to go into the situation because you just don't want to be looked at wrong, right? So for me, when I got all of those different phone calls, I was super excited, but I also was nervous, because the media will get there and flip any of the situations that you can be in, and they will try to put their spin on it and oh, such and such and such and such or whatever. Kind of what I did the backseat with Wendy, and she was asking all those different questions about, would I smash her past or whatever. And that was putting me in a very weird position, to answer those different questions. But it also was just a fun thing to do, for her show or whatever. But being a gay guy, it can put you in a very awkward situation, like, oh, she want to do such and such, or she want to do such and such. No. It was just a game that I was asked, and I'm answering you truthfully if it ever came down to that. I'm not saying that I want that person or whatever, but if it came down to the game, I just answered it truthfully. But so I definitely get nervous in a lot of those different situations, but I'm very mindful of how I handle them and go into them.
Now, let's talk about dating in the gay world as a celebrity. Because growing up, like going into this, people just assume, especially for the girls like us, they assume that we some type of paymasters or we out here just taking care of people and things of that nature. So did you find it hard trying to date while you were being bigger in the industry?
No, not really, because my partner was already with me before I kind of He's been with me for a while now. Actually, tomorrow makes 15 years.
Oh
And
wow, congratulations.
thank you. Sad to say, we might not even make it to the 15 years.
Mhm.
But um, yeah, he was kind of with me already, so I didn't really have to worry about that, dating and any of that. It was already there. He was there for the ride, and
Mhm.
a lot of different stuff happened through the relationship though. And with both of us, we were learning each other, you know, and getting to know each other over time, and just traveling the world. He also danced for me, and so he saw a lot, I saw a lot, um, it over time, and things happen.
I understand. Some once you start learning each other, it's called growth. And sometimes y'all grow
Yeah,
together, and sometimes y'all may grow apart.
yeah,
It's just human nature.
yeah.
So what comes along with bounce music is a lot of booty shaking.
Oh, lots of booty.
And so which comes into a part of um of the nature of bounce. And
Hmm.
when I was in New Orleans for the first time, there's no gender to bouncing. It's just all of it
It's just our culture. It's what we breathe here, and it starts from babies to grandmas, and like they love it. It's what we know here. It's what we were born to. It was around when I was a young kid. It came around in the '80s, and just like how a lot of different places get this certain type of music or this certain type of style of dance, and New Orleans happened to be bounce. And I'm happy that I was able to grow and learn it and be a part of it, and now be one of the people that's at the forefront of it. And I love it. It's just nothing better than to go around shaking your ass and teaching the world to shake their ass.
Yeah, and it's so funny that it's so funny when I see your shows, it's a lot of white people that want to be part of this culture. It's like a lot of
Oh, it's everybody. It's every walk of life, and I invite everybody to come and to learn it and to enjoy it. Because at a Frida show, you come to lay your hair down, shake a little ass. You're gonna be a little tired when you get home, but you have a great time, and it's a chance for people to get away and really express themselves through dance and not feel, judged even on a dance floor. It's a chance for women to feel empowered and not feel, like somebody's sexually violating them. Because I
Mhm.
protect my women also when I'm on stage. If I see somebody getting on them, no, we're not up here for that. We up here to shake our ass together as a whole. You're not about to
Mhm.
dance behind her and think you about to get you a little ass. Not
Mhm.
on my watch.
Now I've seen over the past 3-4 years, you have been getting a lot of support from the LGBTQ community. And you've been more um upfront with it. As far as
Yeah,
now, do you feel like, because in as far as the LGBTQ space, it's a white space, and there's very few black faces that get to go into that space.
yeah.
And I think that for you, you represent a black space that acknowledges that you black. You still I'm black. I have my gospel brunch. We be out here booty shaking. So you one of the few people that still acknowledge that space and live in it. Did you see, because try to figure the way right answer is, when you got to a certain point in your life and your career, they started knocking at your door. Do you feel like because you got to that level, that they started knocking at your door, or they would have been there regardless?
No, I feel it was definitely when I got to a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they would have been there regardless. They would have been there
In the beginning.
at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just over time though we have to work. We have to put that work in though also to get the recognition and
Mm-hmm.
to be known and to just get people aware of what we do. It took a long time for me. 2010 was when I really started to travel and go outside of New Orleans a lot more,
Mm-hmm.
and people started to learn my music and travel a lot. So I had a lot of barriers to break, still breaking barriers. had a lot of places to go, still a lot more places that I want to go. And so it just, things take time, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
with being in this world. And a lot of times they want to put us on the back burner. A lot of times they don't want to give us the credit that's due. Even now, I feel like I should be way bigger than what I am for all
Mm-hmm.
the work that I put in, especially for the gay community. And I also feel like the LGBT community could have been supporting what I do and put me on that next level. But you know how it is. It's just
Mm-hmm.
certain people mess with certain people. It's all rim of what you do and who you know, and also the type of music. So that's why I started also a little bit and let them know I can do just more than bounce, and I do songs on national level and still do what I love to do. So I'm just happy that the people continue to, and we're gonna pushing and keep on breaking barriers down.
Mm-hmm. Now I know you are like you are a very family oriented person. Like with your when it comes down to your team, you make sure that they're together and they're good. Like why is family so important to you?
I'm the mother. I'm mother. You know how I go. Mama got to make sure everything's right. You can hear
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Derek.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I'm mother, so mother has to make sure everything is right. And I mean, I just like to be totally involved in what I do. Um, I don't like to be last minute with stuff. I don't like to not be aware of what's going around me. So I'm very involved with my team, my managers, my dancers, my DJ, my family, just everything around me. I like to be totally involved and I like to give my all, whatever I do. And you have to have a family with you when you're on the road, because if y'all don't become a family, it's not going to be right on the road. I don't want to be stressed and dealing with a lot of problems. If it is, I want to deal with those problems with people who are family and we can figure it out together and be there for one another and carry one another through our journey. And most of my people have worked for me for a long time, 5 years and above. So they know how I am. And when people learn you, they're down for you. You got to stick with those people.
Mm-hmm. Now going through this industry, especially the music industry, I know there's a lot of ups and downs in the industry,
Oh my
and a lot of
God.
people don't really talk about the down parts of it. So, during in the industry, did you have times that you may found yourself to be depressed, or you found yourself just in a dark space? And if so, how did you work yourself out of it?
Yeah, I mean, one time I was in a space where I was ready to give up and not do music anymore at all. And right when I got to that space, things started to happen. I started to get booked in different places around the world. So God brought me out of that space right away. And there is a lot of times that I'm in a dark space and I just don't want to do different things. Um, but I keep praying and pushing, and that's all I can keep doing. I signed up for this. I know what I have to do, and I found the way to make it work for me though, and to
Mhm.
make me comfortable, and to when I don't want to do it, I just don't do it.
But that's the beauty of being your own boss.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Now, what would you
And
say? Go ahead.
you just want to be in a position where you can make the shots and you
Mhm.
can make the calls, and and if you're available to do it, do it, and if you can't do it, you can't do it. But I'm always willing to work and willing to help as many people as I can throughout my music career, and travel around the world. It's a fun thing to do.
Mhm. Okay, our people coming back. Thank goodness. I don't know what had happened with YouTube. Everybody coming back now. um. So what is next for Frida? Because I know that you have music and you have something new popping all the time. It's like you stay working and
I'm
you
trying.
and you stay giving us something new and something fresh. So what do you have next for you?
Girls. So for me, next, Derek, is really I'm working on a cooking show,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get the cooking show going. and my whole cookbook, the cookware, all the merchandise to go with it. Where everything you need for your kitchen, the plate sets, the wine glasses. I'm working on all of that. So the whole cooking line, along with the restaurant to go with it. I'm also working on the next EP.
Mm-hmm.
I have a few other projects I don't want to say because I don't want nobody to steal my idea. So I'll call you and tell you those on the phone by yourself. But I do have some stuff coming out for some kids.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a little hint. Stuff,
But now, let's get to cooking. Who taught you how to cook, Frida?
My mom and my aunt, and just like being in that kitchen and remembering everything my mom said, like it just started all coming back. And as my mom would like start transitioning when we found out she had cancer, she just would be like in there with me, teaching me even more. Like, son, you remember this, you remember that, and I will remember it all of it by in my brain. And my aunt was a cook who cooked every day of her life. When we were small, she gave suppers every day. So I had something to do every day when I got home from school. I had to make plates, clean chicken, fried chicken, help with macaronis. I had something to do in the kitchen every day because every day the whole neighborhood was getting fed by my aunt. So I was taught by them, and also my grandmother, who was just a fool with cooking. Like when I was young, she would say, "Come on, let me make some niggas in a blanket." And a nigga in a blanket was a little small pie that she used to fill with all kind of different fillings, apple, peach, whatever I wanted. She would fill them, and then I would take the fork and press them around and make the little, the different little shapes of the pie. So I've been knowing all of this stuff from my family.
Because when I check in with you when you're having your Sunday brunches, sometimes it does. Like when you're in the kitchen, it gets emotional for you sometimes.
Yeah, it does. It does because it brings me back to all those good times we listened to music in the kitchen with my mom and my aunt, and we all reminiscing and talking. And it kind of goes on at my house now. And I took on that tradition of keeping my family together and bringing everybody over for Sunday dinner and the big functions. Every holiday they're at my house, and I'm the cook. So it, girls, please, for dogs, all girls, a headache. So I kept the tradition going for my family, and I get emotional sometimes because I miss my mom and I miss my aunt, the people who really started it and kept it going, and now it's on me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I still gotta come down there and get some of that cooking, child.
Oh, don't worry. When you come, I got you. Even when I come to Atlanta,
yes,
we gonna do it wherever I come at. Next
yes,
time
I need because I'd be so mad. I'd be like, look at all that good old food Frida over there cooking.
I got a call today, so I might have a booking coming in the next 2 weeks there. So you might get that food sooner than you think.
Now, thinking about all that you've been through and all the experiences that you had, if you could look back to 13-year-old Freddy, what advice would you give him coming up to you? What advice would you give him growing up?
For me, looking back at 13-year-old Freddy is just continue to be humble. Take your time. Think before you act. Continue to listen to mom. And, like I said, being young, I was a very humble child, being that I came from the church. So I was never into a lot of, just rootless stuff. I always wanted to be into nice, positive stuff. My mom kept me out of trouble. Of course, I did stuff that, any normal kid would do just to learn different stuff. I snuck to clubs, I had, my first drink with my cousins, them. I smoked a little weed. I did all of that. But looking back on all of that, I will definitely say I will just sit back and observe more and take my time with everything and not rush into anything.
Mm-hmm. Now, for a young boy that's looking at this, because like I said, because that's what this is here for, and they see Big Freedia, and they say, I want lashes, I want nails, I want to wear a wig, I want to wear makeup, I want to be me. What would you say to that person?
I would say, Take your time. Know when you're ready. Don't rush. Don't try to be like the next person. My mama always used to say, don't be a follower. You are a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And that stuck in my head. I never wanted to follow or be like nobody else. I always wanted to be like myself. I always wanted to be the leader and people to follow me. So you got to know in your heart who you are, what you want to be, and take your time. There's no rush to get any of this stuff. No lashes, no wig, no makeup, no nails. It's no rush because you have time when you get older to really make these decisions and to find out who you want to be. I had a phase where I was going through with my hair. My mom was a hairdresser for over 30 years. So,
Mm-hmm.
baby, I wanted every style that there was in the book. I wanted claws and I wanted finger waves. I wanted freezes. I wanted the wrap. And, baby, mother was not having it. You could wear this freeze. See, when I came home with them claws, I got the claw. You know, see when I came home wanted to wear a wrap? Oh, you got the wrap. So just take your time in everything. Listen to your parents because mom and dads will not lead you wrong. They only want to protect us from people that can be so cruel in this world. And I tell people all the time, just keep the people that love you close to you and that understand you. And
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll be okay when you're young and you're gay and you're going through something. Find that person that you can go to and talk to and vent to. But you want that person to be your mom because your mom will protect you like no other person in this world.
Mm-hmm. How do you keep the people like who is your gatekeepers right now? Because I know people trying to get at Big Freedia. I know people are trying to get into your circle. People that try to get into your ear. Who protects you? Who protects you from all of that other stuff? Because these niggas out here a mess.
They are. So honestly, my Heavenly Father, I
Mm-hmm.
pray and I ask Him to protect me from all hurt, harm, and danger. And that's who protect me. All of the people around me who have my back on the grounds are my team,
Mm-hmm.
my family, my team and my family. My family, of course, first because they are they're behind me 1,000 and my team as well because they're the ones on the road with me and who have to help protect me and keep me safe as well as me keeping them safe. We're a family. So between my Heavenly Father, my family, and my team, that's my
Mm-hmm.
protectors.
Mm-hmm. And then how do you get through the naysayers? Because I know in our field of entertainment, it's always somebody got something to say. It's always
Oh,
somebody that.
these girls is trying it all kinds of ways, honey. They are trying it all kinds. Listen, when that happens, I just sit back and keep on shocking them with great, wonderful things that I love to do. You know, stuff like
Mhm.
this, and the next interview, and the next song that I came out with a new video today. So when they try to knock me down, I just knock it back down with something positive and something great for the people and the fans to entertain.
I love you so much, Frida. Because the thing
I
is,
love you too.
is that you have. If people don't get time to say, if people just look at you for face value, they wouldn't know that this is all that makes up Frida. Like, they just see the tattoos and they'll see the
Yeah.
makeup, and then they come up with this whole other thought process that's not even.
Yeah. No, people are so shocked by when they meet me from the person they see on TV, from the person that they see on stage. I'm a total different person when I'm off stage and when I'm not on TV. You can, and I'm very humble. I'm very laid back. I'm not always loud, and you already know that's not me all day. That is a switch I turn on for my fans and the Freddy inside of me. Just know that when I get upset, you would not want to meet him.
Mhm. I just want to so for you guys that's listening or you guys that's watching, I want to let you know that Frida is the first person, other than Ray, but Frida is the first person I reached out to. I reached out to Frida probably 2 weeks ago, and she said, "Give me a second. I got some stuff going on. I got it. Like, don't worry. I will figure it out." And then she
Yes.
popped up like beginning of this week or in the last week was like, "What day can I do this? I can do it on Thursday. Remind me on Wednesday. We good. And I was wondering, and you don't know, that warms my heart so much because I was starting to feel funny about doing this because I'm reaching out. Everybody like, oh yeah, but you know, they never get back.
Don't feel funny. You know, sometimes a lot of people have stuff going on, and you know, Derek, I have stuff that I try to get in touch with people for, and I can't reach them. And I done favors for people and try to get favors back. So you know how I go when you want favors back. But you know, when you have a real, genuine people that love you and truly care for you, they will come back. And like that was on my mind since you called me. That has been on my mind since, and I had it on my calendar. I have to figure this out for Derek. I have to figure this out for so and so. Like I don't like to tell my people something and not double back because that's not me. Because every time I've called you, you've always been there for me. Every time I come to Atlanta, you picking me up. We going out. We doing what we do. And you know, we real sisters. So I got to do what I got to do for my sister.
Yes, I appreciate you so much. Now,
no problem.
Now, when you listen to my last question for you, when you look in the mirror and say, I love Big Freedia. So from scale of 1 to 100, 1 being the worst, 100 being the best, how sure are you number-wise when you say that?
I'm 100. I love me. If I don't love me, how can I get anybody else to love me?
You know, it's so crazy because, you know, I ask that question to everybody, honey. I get all type of numbers.
No, I love me first. I got to come first and I got to love me. If I can't love me, how can I expect somebody else to love me? So I'm so happy right now. I'm reviving, rejuvenating, and thinking about me right now. And I'm loving myself all over again.
And did you have to learn how to re-love yourself?
I'm relearning right now. It's all a process. I'm relearning, and it just recently started. So yes, I am relearning right now, and I'm so excited because I know it's going to be a fun ride to going back to reloving myself.
Frida, thank you so much. I know you got another live to jump on to in a minute.
Yes.
Once you get off that live, I'm gonna call you so we can have a real good dialogue with each other.
Yes, please do. I'll talk to you tonight.
All right, baby. Love you.
I love you, baby.
So I don't know. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know what happened to YouTube. We were there and then it kind of went away, but it's all recorded. I'm gonna make sure it's gonna be on the page, and so you guys can go back and listen to it and revisit it. I don't know who I'm gonna have next week, but it's gonna be something good and something great because it only gets greater from here. And thank you guys for stepping in here with me, hanging in with me, and coming back once it lifted back up. So that was Big Freedia. This was Gay Like Me Live, and I will see you guys next week.